See, you guys have a lot going on that you probably don't understand. Or you hear it and it goes in one ear, out the other. Everybody has a down moment. That's life. That's humans. At the end of the day, we continue to push forward and we continue to lead by example because there's somebody watching us that you don't know, that's looking up to you that you don't know. Not just your kids, but people, friends, peers, older people. True. And you don't know it. I look up to you. I like the positive Pete. It reminds me to stay positive. I like how you have a giving heart. That reminds me of myself, and it reminds me to stay being a giving person because I see how people interact with you, how it blesses them.
Yeah.
I'm all about the blessing business. God blesses you to bless others.
But when you're in like a tough moment, like you said, can't always be good. What do you do, or what do you find maybe works to snap you out of it? Like, does the gym help you?
To snap me out of it, I think about...
All right, guys, we got my friend, my brother, Nate Head in the building, as I lovingly refer to as Nathan. Me and Nate came into contact a few years ago. I always supported his boxing program from the sidelines. He started coming around the house. He'd hang out, visit the kids while he was working, and he was, stop by for dinner. We grew to have a real close bond and friendship. I started with his boxing program locally, and I found a lot of value just in finding myself alongside him. Nate is an accomplished boxer, Hall of Fame Marine Corps boxer, retired captain in the military out of the Army. He was a Marine and then joined after his service in the Marine Corps ended. He joined up in the Army. He's got a long list of accolades and a lot more that he plans to achieve in the years to come. Nate has faced struggle and adversity daily and overcomes with the utmost sincerity and never gets overwhelmed or overworked. And hopefully he can give us some insight as to how we could stay calm, focused, and mellow, because I've never seen this guy's hand shake, not once. Nate, tell us about yourself.
You just told everybody about me. I don't even know how to follow that.
Well, give us your early years. I mean, you started in Newark. You progressed through into the military. You wind up in policing. Tell us.
So, starting off in Newark. So my dad was military. My dad's a Marine. We started off in Camp Lejeune. I think my dad got out when my sister was born in 85 or 86. My dad got out of the Marine Corps, so we left North Carolina. We go to Newark, New Jersey. That's where they're from, my dad and my mom. So, which is funny, because at the end of the day, when we come to Newark, like in North Carolina, like I had all the swag because, you know what I mean? Like
you had that Jersey swag down there.
A little bit because of my parents. And so I was like the guy in the classroom everybody wanted to be around, whatever the case may be. Then we moved to Newark. And when we moved to Newark, I'm not that guy no more. People telling me, yo, why you talk funny? You got an accent. Yeah. What's up with your hair? And I'm like...
A little 180 for you.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Some fat dudes trying to bully me and everything. Then this girl, she's trying to take up for me. So there's like little girls beating up on bullies for me. And then they're like, you're my boyfriend. But they wasn't as, attractive as I would have liked them to be. But I don't want them to beat me up. So I'm like, all right.
So you've been playing the field for a long time.
But then at the same time, I'm like, yo, this can't be life. Like, I'm getting beat up by this fat boy. I don't want to tell them I don't want to talk to them because they're going to beat me up too. But whatever. I looked out for my sister. So we was in Newark for a little bit. I always knew I wanted to be in the Marine Corps since my dad was in. He kind of set it up. He ran like a military house.
But did he hammer home we're a military family, I think you should be in the military, or is that a conclusion you came to on your own?
I came to it on my own because at the end of the day, he had chores. I didn't want to do the chores. So my out was, when I turned 18, I'm going into the Marine Corps. I used to tell my dad that ever since I was 5 years old. And my dad would respond back, I'm going to hold you to it. You got to hold me to it, I'm good. And then when I was a junior, my dad moved to the suburbs after the 8th grade, which is good because I had a lot of stuff going on with gang members trying to come after me for whatever the reason. So my dad moved to the suburbs in North Plainfield, and that was the first time I saw white people.
That ties full circle to our pre-recorded conversation.
What you was talking about earlier.
West side of Freewood Acres, baby.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw
You
white
guys
people.
got that in common.
Yeah.
It was just swapped, but that's all right.
Yeah, but it was good. So I go to North Plainfield. I was a typical kid, so I didn't understand that my dad was kind of hooking us up, bringing us up. We went from an apartment to a house, and life is good. I was just mad because at the time, it was 96. The new buses just came out in Newark. And I wanted to get on the bus to go to high school, right? And then my dad moved us to the suburbs where I still have to walk to go to school. I'm like, this is some crap.
Now, did your dad know that you had issues going on with local gangs at that point when you guys moved? Was that part of the reason you moved or just coincidence?
My dad moved because obviously he got up in his steps in the police department and, he wanted to move his family to a better atmosphere. He didn't know that a gang was after me, but he knew I had some issues because I had stole or commandeered his mace for protection. So I was going to spray somebody that was trying to, do something to me. And I was in class, and some guy was like, yo, can I see your homework or whatever before the teacher come in? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, it's in my book bag. And he goes in my book bag, and I'm looking this way at the front. I forgot about this mace. So he goes in my book bag. I'm looking over here, and then the here is, yo, what's this? And I was like, I turn around. He has the mace in his hand. He already sprayed it twice. Ooh. Everybody in the classroom is starting to cough.
Oh, no.
The girls run out. Then the guys run out. The teacher comes inside. What's going on? We all got to go out. And then we're out in the hallway. People are coughing, blah, blah, blah. These people come up. I don't know if it's a principal, whatever, some adult. And they're like, who had it? Who had the mace? Who had the mace? Nobody's talking. And then they says, whose mace is this? And I'm looking at the kid like, you effed up. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's cool. I'll take a hit. It's my mace. So I said, it's me. Did you spray? I guess. So they bring me down. I sit down. This janitor says, oh, this says law enforcement. Your dad's a cop. You're definitely going to get it. He's going to beat your A. This is back in the day. He said, he's going to beat your A. So my dad comes, and then he asked me, like, he puts me in the car. He's like, why'd you get this mace or whatever? And I told him, there's some people at the school that's trying to, beat me up or whatever the case may be. So actually we were walking. So while I'm telling him this story and we're walking to the car, one of the gang members is outside. Now these gang members, some of them go to our school, some of them go to the high school, which was at Westside High. We're in middle school, Valesburg. And
my father's from Valesburg. Did you guys discuss that the other day?
We did.
He loves Valesburg.
So I said, that's one of the kids right there. Now my dad's in uniform. He looks at the kid. He says, yo, my man, come here. The dude looks at my dad, who's in police uniform. He thinks I called the cops on him. So he immediately starts running, right? So I have to deal with that when I go back to school, by the way. Dang. So my dad knows, like, there's some people dealing with me, but he doesn't know why. Later on in that week or whatever, these guys find out where I live. They try to break into my dad's car. He had these two clubs on the car. Y'all remember the club?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So
he
he
had
had
the steering wheel?
People still
he
use
had
them.
it, one on the steering wheel and then one like where you'd have the like emergency brake and then what's the other thing?
The console?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had the two clubs and he had a chain connected to the in and out of the steering wheel, connected to the pedal or whatever. These guys saw that. They must have got mad, so they shot the car up. Bop, 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 right? Probably 2 shots. I don't know. The back window was basically still up. My dad comes out, he opens the door, he closed the door, the back window shatters or whatever from the bullets or whatever. So that's that. They come back the next day, they steal the car. Take them like 2 minutes. My dog is barking. We had a pit bull named Outlaw. He's barking out the balcony. My dad seen him. he's like, oh man, because at this point they already shot the window up. We got like plastic in the back window. So he sees the guy's like legs going into the car. So he grabs his piece. He runs downstairs. By the time he runs downstairs, they out. So whatever. Anyway, we moved to the suburbs. I was only mad because I couldn't take the bus to school, the new buses that came out. And at the end of the day, it wound up being a blessing because when I went to the suburbs, I got to deal with different people from, different cultures. I only knew African Americans and Spanish people. And now I know African Americans, Spanish people, and a whole bunch of white people.
Now, to interrupt you real quick, do you think that helped shape you today? I mean, obviously the military exposed you to all walks of life.
Yeah.
But do you think that played a role in you being able to grow and progress through the military and today? Because I've seen you around black people, white people, green people. It don't matter to you. People are people, and I see how you respond and how you act. You treat everybody the same in every interaction you have. So do you think now, looking back, that was a great move for you in your formidable years at that age?
I think it was a blessing. It's that move is going to help me to deal with the military when I meet everybody in the military.
True.
So when we move out of Newark, all I know is minorities. When we go into the suburbs, I see a little bit of everybody. And now I'm good because, like, I have to learn, that, what I'm saying, you're from a different culture, whatever the case may be. But the military took that to a different level. When I got into the military, now I know how to deal with people that's, white, Spanish, whatever, but we're all from up north.
Yeah.
When I go to the military, I got black people from up north, black people from the country, white people from the country, white people from up north, Asian people. I got everybody. So it's like, it was full circle. And that teaches you, like, basically life. Because once I went from there, then I feel like God blessed me even more because once you go overseas, now you're dealing with people from a different country.
Yep.
So there was levels to how God blessed me to deal with different people. And you know what I'm saying, every time I got a lesson, especially in my older years, or once I joined the military, I actually started understanding what's going on and then, just how I interact with people.
Even before you got to the military, you've always had like we can conquer this mentality. I've said it on here before. If somebody asks you how many push-ups you could do, you will say all of them. And you will damn near die trying to do all of the push-ups.
No, I will do all of them.
But you told me a story when you were younger. Your father took you to the gym with him with the police department.
Yes.
And what did you bench press, like 225 at 12 or something?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Moving big boy weight. How much did you weigh back then?
I don't remember. But
I mean, how much could an average
that's-
12-year-old weigh? I mean, the guy was
when I
never
was
out of
12, I
shape.
was like 70 pounds. I mean, you had to
But
be like
at the end of the
120,
day-
but still.
At the end of the day,
That's
also know
impressive.
the atmosphere. So in
Yeah.
the Marine Corps, right? Even though I'm not a Marine, my dad's in the Marines, and all I'm seeing is big diesel Marines around my dad, and that's all they're doing is lifting and working out.
Yeah.
Then we go to back to Newark, and everybody that's older than me, all those teenagers and adults, is big and diesel for whatever. So I was attracted to that life.
Right.
And I've been attracted to, I'm like, when I was little, I was like a daddy's boy. So when I was 4 at Camp Lejeune, when my daddy was lifting weights or whatever in his room, I'm in there with him. And I remember, I was like, hey, Dad, I want to lift too. And he's like, he was cool about it. He's like, just let's do some push-ups because I'm too small. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm doing push-ups. At a certain age, them push-ups suck, right? I want to do something else. I want to lift. So I'm like, Dad, I want to lift. I'm done with these push-ups. Can I bench like you? So then he gives me the dumbbell or whatever. What is it? The barbell.
Yep,
and it's
just the
empty.
bar. Yep.
It's empty, right?
Get that form right.
And I get on the floor and I'm benching that. And then when he's curling something, I'm curling that. You know what I mean? To the point, I remember when we was in the suburbs, when we was in North Plainfield, he had his stuff upstairs. And he let me bench one.
You told me the story.
Yeah, he let me bench a 45 on each shot, right? So that's 135. After a while, I look at my dad. I think I'm like 10 or 11, something like that. I know I was in the 7th grade. However old are you in the 7th grade? And I told my dad, I says, I can bench that 225. And he was like, you can't bench this. And I was like, yes, I can. So he's like, all right, come on. So I get under there. And he's like, all right, if you need me, I'm going to spot you. I'm going to make sure you're straight. So he lifts it up. He lets it go. And I put it up 2 times.
That's wild.
After I put it up 2 times, he's like, all right. Then I used to sneak up there all the time and try to bench. Like, I got some stories where that thing fall on me.
I can imagine.
And then my little sister, who's 5 years younger than me, have to help me roll it off or whatever.
Yeah, did you put the clips on? Because the
No,
move used to be
to dump
where
it.
you could just dump it. Yeah, drop it.
Understand,
drop
my
it.
dad's, the way where he had the bench at is
Yeah.
kind of like
You
upstairs.
can't be letting those weights
and
hit
if
the
I let
floor.
him go, it's going to be messing up the
Yeah.
thing. So I had
So
to
what'd you
roll
do?
it
Roll
off.
it off? Yeah, roll it
I had
off.
to roll it off.
But he'd be home
But-
by himself with his
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah, it's
He'd
bad.
sneak up there to bang it out.
Yeah,
That's
I was
hilarious.
sneaking
And then he's
upstairs
yelling for
to lift the weights.
That's great.
Like if my dad knew I was doing that, he'd probably kill me. But after a while, I started lifting it like, 3-4 times, whatever. And my dad, he was impressed. Now, you know how sometimes you have an epiphany about something in your life and you're like, oh, I can see where it was going with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know it at the time. But as I got grown, I realized that my dad was like showing me off. He took me to the precinct. He was Newark PD, so he took me to the gym that they have. And, everybody's working out, whatever the case may be. And I'll never forget, like, I go to the bench and I put on the 2 plates. And my dad's over there curling something. I can see him in the mirror. He's looking at me. He's taking a glance. Everybody else, they stop. And they're looking at me, and they're looking at my dad like, yo, get your kid. Because I think I'm like 12 or 13 at the time.
Like, nah, my kid will be all right.
So they're looking at him like, yo, go get your kid. And I threw up the 225 a couple times, and then I put it down, and then they're like, yo. And they go over to my dad like, yo, that's your boy? He's like, yeah. He trying to play it off. I know he specifically brought me there to show me off.
Yeah, and
He
that's
got
really cool.
exactly what he wanted.
That's great.
And he's like, they're like, yo, is this your kid? He's like, yeah. They're like, yo, you got to get this man a girlfriend. Da, 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 da. What you doing with your kid? But
No, that's
it's
amazing.
good.
And like we talk about being parents all the time. We talk about these little kids being like little mirrors of ourselves. And like when I first met you and everything, like you could tell that you learned a lot from the military. Like your shirt's always pressed. You're always looking clean. You could tell you're organized. Like I'm sure your closet's all intact. Like I'm sure you learned a lot from the military, but it's nice to hear that you as a dad have been like this little mirror looking up to your dad.
Facts.
And so I think even if you didn't necessarily go the military route, I think he gave you enough of a foundation that you would have probably been okay no matter what you chose to do outside of the military. But being groomed the way you were compared to when Mikey was here, now, Mikey didn't have anyone in the military to watch.
Mm-hmm.
He went there. He didn't know what to expect. He went there. He was pretty much tunnel vision.
And excelled,
And he excelled, but you almost had the foundation when you came in. You moved from Newark down to the suburbs, so now you kind of know the people, already had the work ethic, already looked up to your superhero dad that was in uniform and in law enforcement, and now you're there and you're like, oh, I've already been here before. Like you were almost already in it before you even signed up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that things were diligent and things were regimented and wasn't just a free-for-all in the house. You had to be organized. I know you told us one story about how you put some nasty food into the VHS.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was bugging about that.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
Did he keep his cool with you for the most part? Or like those dads that came before us, they were pretty intimidating. Would he kind of lose his cool when you were messing up? I know you were only like 9 in that
But
story.
your dad's big and intimidating too, right?
As it is, so
Yeah.
you're almost afraid to mess up just by the sheer looks of him.
So back in the day, my dad looked like Mike Tyson. And people used to compare him to the two. I think they even used to call him Iron Nate. So he was a big dude.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I used to like that about my dad. I thought there was nobody bigger besides Mike. I was like, oh, there's your twin. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
But when I joined the military, when I joined the Marine Corps, even though I was trying to start my own path, I've always looked toward, things toward my dad, or I go to people that actually remind me of my dad. Like there's this kid named Hedgepath. He was killing the game in the Marine Corps. Marksman, designated marksman, all this other great stuff that I couldn't do. But he reminded me of my dad because he was killing it and standing out, and he was short, which my dad was short.
Okay.
All right. Then there's this dude that I was drawn to, Paul Condon. You met Paul.
I know Paul. We golfed together.
Yeah. So Paul stood out to me because he was an African-American in an infantry unit. Hedgepeth was infantry too. He was African-American in an infantry unit standing out from all his peers. He was Marine of the Quarter, Marine of the Year, and he got all his rank mandatorily. Mandatory corporal, mandatory sergeant within 4 years, which is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
And Paul's a pretty good guy. You should meet him. I got to spend the day with him one day. Nate hooked it up for Honor Day at Eagle Oaks.
Nice.
And
That's amazing that they do that every year, too.
Paul's not an amazing golfer, but
Fine.
a great
It's
guy.
all about honoring people.
Yeah,
What's
no,
the sheer percentage of
amazing
people
guy.
who are actually good at golf?
I know I am in the
Limited.
minority with the people I play with, but I'm sure the majority of the
the
country
thing, man.
is bad, if not worse than me.
Yeah.
You're pretty good,
100%. According to who? Not
Compared to me.
Yeah, but but you've come a long way.
I have.
And now you're showing other people
I'm trying
stuff.
to get
but
Nate
yeah.
to golf a little more. We got him out there one time he played, and it wasn't
I can
terrible.
see him. I can see him decked out on the golf course.
Bro, he showed up.
We saw him with
He
some
showed
high
up
socks or something.
Decked out. He must have went to Dick's the day
With little
before.
hats.
Said, just dress me like the mannequin.
Yo,
because
for real.
he looked every
I
bit
can
of the
picture
part.
that.
And it's funny because I not so much anymore, but I always referred to him as Howell's own Mike Lowry
Yep,
from
I
Bad
remember
Boys.
that.
You know,
That's how you
he's
introduced
got
him.
that swag to
Yep.
him. So
Yeah.
when we
Mike
pull
Lowry.
up, it was the Teddy Atlas boxing golf outing, and it was perfect for Nate. You know, it's boxing. He comes and we pull up, and I see him, and bro, he looked just like the mannequins. I mean, just dressed perfectly to the nines. He looked every bit of the part.
That's awesome.
And
so
then
you
he
know
swung
what this
the club.
reminds me? Billy's always basically what I call for a while gassing people up. And when you're one of his people that he loves, he will. It's not a good term, gas up, but he's always been saying amazing things about you. I want to flip the switch though a little bit because Billy is always building other people up. What's something like what does he bring to you, or what's something in him that he
No,
might
this is
not necessarily see in himself because he's fierce, he's hot-headed, but he's got a big heart. And when he's on your side and he's on your team, he's very loyal. And I know that you're one of his guys. So instead of it always being Billy gassing us up, what kind of gas can we give back to him?
So that's amazing. I tell him this all the time when we're by ourselves, how I think he's amazing because one, he has a great heart, always taking care of people, right? No matter what, even sometimes I feel like some of these people don't deserve it, take advantage. And he's like, yo, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I got the chills.
Long as I'm doing my thing,
Yep.
I can sleep at night. God bless me. It's not about money, this and that. It's about time and what you do for them. I'm like, yo, that makes you amazing.
Really
but you
does.
got to understand how amazing you are.
Yep.
And he's a giver, right? A lot of the times, he may think that he's moving in a negative light. He thinks like people are taking advantage of. He knows sometimes there could be people taking advantage of him, but he looks at himself and downgrades himself a lot. Like, oh, I think I'm being a B or da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, you're being responsible.
Yep.
You're growing.
Yep.
You're maturing. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. Now, you're looking at the dude in the background, like you said in one of your podcasts, the rearview mirror is small for a reason. Look at who you are right now and
That's
look
it.
at all the great stuff you did with people.
Yeah.
So he's amazing, just don't know it.
Yep.
He's like a blessing to be around.
Yep.
That's why I'm drawn to him.
I agree
Now,
with that.
with that being said, let's take it to you. At the end of the day, I'm motivated is what I do.
Yeah, no, I
So
love
at
that
the-
motivated energy.
At the end of the day, when I first met you and I sat you down in that at How Pow,
yeah. Yep.
you know what I'm saying? I let you know exactly that you have a positive energy about you that draws people to you, whether you know it or not. Like, I knew about you before I met you. They told me, like, when you meet this person, you're just gonna be like, yo, this is the dude. Gotta
You're
be
like in
around
awe
him.
when he shows up.
That
He's
energy.
starting to sound like a token suburbs white guy right now.
But at the end of the day, when I met you, I could see it. You got a
Yeah.
glow to you. You got like an aura. I can't be sad or down, depressed when I'm around you. Like how you are with the kids. You start smiling. You got this, dude.
Yep.
You smiling harder than the kids.
100%.
Like,
Yep.
But that's who you are, period. You're able to pick people up because of your energy, your glow. Like when I saw you at the, where was I?
5 Mile?
They was doing the 5K or whatever. And I saw
5
you.
Mile in Spring Lake, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
When you came by,
Yep.
I was like, oh, look, there's a positive peak.
That was so awesome.
You know what I mean?
But now
That was
this
a
is
hot
something
day. I was
for the
so
both
tired.
of you.
Yep.
We're a product of the environment we create, right? So like I linked up with you, I linked up with Pete, and I've benefited significantly from both of you and other people in my circle as well, but it's just us here. Pete's had a very positive influence on what I pay attention to and how I respond, like with my kids especially. You are the reason I've calmed down a lot, and I don't need to be as hot-headed or as forceful because by all counts, you're the baddest man I know. With your hands, I'm fairly certain there's not many people, maybe I count on one hand, whether I know them or not, that could beat you. And you carry yourself with an aura.
He's like, who? Name him. Bring him over here.
Listen, I might not know, but that's the thing, right? So I can get beat, but I'm good with it. I've always approached life like that. I might take a beating, but I'm going to respond aggressively because I feel that's just how I was taught. You don't have to respond. And you just walk with the confidence, like, yeah, I let you live today. I let you slide. So, like, you've rubbed that off on me. And a couple weeks ago when we were at work and that happened, like, that was what was in the back of my mind. Like, what would Nate do?
I'm sure his presence that day really came in. You have that presence about you.
Yeah, and it's just calming knowing that the baddest man I know would walk away and give somebody a pass just because he can beat you doesn't mean he has to beat you.
Those are facts.
And I've never really heard you raise your voice. You don't swear.
I never heard him swear.
Yeah. I mean, you're just calm and collected. And in that sense, you've made me want to be better. So, like, yeah, I might be pretty good to be around. But at this point, I'm probably really only good to be around because the people I'm around. You know, so as much as, like, maybe I've made an impact on you a little bit or maybe I've helped you a little bit, you guys have helped me a lot. And at 38,
what it's all about.
Turning 39, I feel like I finally have my pieces for my life to excel and grow. And I don't mean professionally, personally.
I feel like that happens to a lot of males. I think once they have their family, they kind of lose sight on some of these things like the brotherhood, a tribe, someone to just kind of call, lean on, someone that you know is like rooting for you no matter what, not judging you whether you're successful or making mistakes, just always having them there. And I think a lot of guys, they have these resources around them or maybe they stop looking for them and maybe they resort back to the people that used to support them back in the day. And maybe they've elevated their life a little bit and that person might kind of still be in the same place, whatever it may be. But that I'm glad that you were able to find people that were able to level you up as well as you doing the same thing for them.
Yeah, you know, just that mental clarity and mental health support, being able to call you or being able to call Nate, it's incredible to me. And just the support in general, like not just for me, for my kids. Like, bro, Max is wrestling. If you're not pulled in 300 directions, I know you're there. Nate gets on the phone as soon as I put up a post of Max taking second. At the last 2 tournaments, he's on the phone to talk to Max, to congratulate him.
Nice.
Like,
that stuff goes a long way, man. We need so much more of that stuff. People have been, giving me a lot of credit for like sending a video to a kid or sending a video to a kid who just got injured. Like, I think people lose sight or they forget what it feels like to be a kid. And like, we all had positive influences in our life, whether you found him in the military or was your dad right there or someone that was a little bit older than you that you were looking up to in sports or whatever it may be. I feel like as we get older, people kind of lose sight of that. Like, that's important. Like, send the 30-second video.
Yeah, well, people forget what is important in life. You know, it's not what your bank account looks like. It's not what kind of car you drive. It's not, if you're flying private. That shit's nice, but I'd much rather, and yeah, I say this with 2 loaves of bread, I got a beautiful home, a beautiful family, and I really want for nothing. So when I say it, maybe it's a little meaningless, but take all the money away. I'd rather leave you in a better place than I found you yesterday. I'd rather leave a little bit of me with you and leave you in a better place, or a kid that's going through it, whatever it is. If we can impact our society and use our blessings to help further people, which you did. All right, let's go back to Nate for a minute. This fucking guy took time out of his personal life. He would drive from home on his days off, open his boxing gym for fucking free to mentor the youth.
Oh, yeah.
That speaks volumes.
That's big impact.
Well,
That's life-changing stuff.
Not so different than what you were doing in the beginning, especially.
Yeah, but still, I mean, and I'm not downplaying that to me personally, but to have somebody else that's living a similar life, it's like, yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, we should be doing more of that. Like, you know, the pats on the back are nice, but that's not why he's doing it. He knows that he could literally save that kid's life. That kid going to his boxing gym could be just as close to his dad walking down the street in his law enforcement uniform.
100%.
You're either go to the gym for an hour, or that hour was spent with the gang. And now you're in day one, and now you got to that fork in the road, and now you're with the wrong people. Yeah. So it's that quickly that things can really change, and I'm glad that Nate hasn't lost sight of that.
And you guys as coaches have that role where, you know, when I was younger, and I'm assuming similar for you guys, maybe not, I love my dad, I respected my dad and my mom, but when I was like 13, 14, 15, whatever, I didn't want to listen to them. I mean, they could tell me one thing, I could walk out of the house and a coach or another adult influence could tell me the same thing. I'd listen to them before I listened to my parents.
It's kind of like that still.
It is still
with
like
the
that.
generations.
It really is.
And the kids. Because I can coach and teach a whole bunch of kids or adults a whole bunch of stuff. And then I get to Devontae and Tiffany and I tell them stuff and they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
You tell them, they're like, oh, okay, that's the best thing.
It happens to me on a daily.
Think about
between the other people's kids and my kids.
Yeah. But think about that impact you guys are able to make on people.
Yeah.
Every day, you know, you were coaching yesterday, you get to sit down and talk and influence these kids that could take a wrong turn a little bit. You got these kids that you're working with from the time they're Max was like 4.5 when he started working with you. So now you're building their entire future. Yeah, I'm his parent, but you're his coach. Yep. And I had that conversation with Ernie the other day, Roman's father. Mm-hmm. He referred to as his sensei in life. And it was flattering for me to hear that my good friend is looked at in that light. And I've heard people discuss you in that light. A lot of kids that have come through your program, and, you know, you're teaching them at an earlier age than you started, because you didn't start boxing until you were in the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
what were you, 19 when you started boxing? 18?
18
so now you're progressing or passing this gift of knowledge onto these younger kids, when maybe if you started a little earlier, maybe you'd have been in a little bit more advanced place when you got to the Marine Corps, but look at how you finished. I mean,
this is how I look at life. So at the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of negativity going on in the world. You can look around, you can go to your job, you can go outside, wherever.
It's out there.
It's cool to be negative. Everybody want to complain. Everybody want to say, oh, yeah. Like, if you hear, it's so cool to be negative that if you say something positive, they want to say a negative thing to be cool. Like, I'll tell people
at you. Yeah.
I'll tell people, they say, how you doing today? I can't complain. Then they come with that negative bull crap. Mm-hmm. Nobody will listen. I ain't asked you that. I just said I can't complain. Let's keep it moving. At the end of the day, when you go to work, everybody's cool but saying, oh, yeah, the job sucks, da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. But you got a job. You're putting food on the table.
Don't lose sight of that.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
What is there to complain about?
Yeah.
Your eyes is good. You can talk. You got health, whatever.
I actually saw a video. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I saw a video just yesterday. I'm not sure who it was. Yeah. But he said somebody was complaining about their shoes until they saw somebody with no feet.
I saw that.
There you go.
Damn.
There you go.
And it's true.
Yeah. And that's how it is. So I try to walk every day with a positive mindset.
Good.
Right? And then my thing is trying to lead by example. Period. That's in everything in life. Whether you're an example to the youth, an example to your peers, example to whoever, or a reminder to the people that's older than you that, yeah, I need to make sure I'm saying, I'm playing a part so that, because there's always somebody looking at you. Yeah. You're Positive Pete, whether you know it or not. Yeah. There's always somebody looking at you. You can't really have a bad day, but you do. Right. But at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself that, there's somebody looking up to me, so I really can't break down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, we're human. We're going to have our moments where we break down. But at the end of the day, remember, like, there's somebody out there that's doing a lot worse than me. So if I can remember that, if I'm still able to, feed my family, I'm still able to freaking have all my health, I'm still able to, I got transportation, I got a career, whatever, then what am I really complaining about? Let me keep it moving, because at the end of the day, there's somebody that's less fortunate.
Yeah.
The moment I got real tight with you is when we went to New York, right, to see a play.
Went to see
New Jack City.
New Jack City,
right?
yeah. Am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah, that's my thing. So we went there to see that, right? Now, I have a thing, like, if I walk down the street in New York, Newark, wherever, any place, any urban place, or where there's people that's less fortunate, and they come up to me and they say, hey, I'm struggling, can you give me $1 or $2 or whatever? I'm gonna give them whatever I have. And then this guy told me, like, your right hand should never know what's going on in your left hand, which kind of effed me up a little bit, because now whatever's in my pocket, I gotta give you the whole thing. Yeah. So now I started, like, I pick and choose what I put in that pocket.
Go to the singles.
Yeah. Gotta separate it.
Yeah, I separate it so I don't have to do that. Anyway, but the moral of the story is, I'm always giving, right? If somebody come up to me and they ask me, I'm giving. Now, there's people that be like, oh, you got scammed. That person, whatever. All right, at the end of the day, karma ain't get them.
Yeah, but that sounds like we got the same philosophy.
Yeah. I'm going to bless this person regardless. So, me and him are in New York. We're walking down the street. I can't remember the person, but somebody came up to us and they said, hey, can you help me out? Da-da-da-da. And I go to dig in my pockets to give them something. I only have my debit card, right? I'm like, dang. And I was about to tell them to come with me to an ATM so I can hook them up. But before I could get it out my mouth, he says, I got you. He goes in his pocket and blesses the person. And then from that moment, he was my guy.
You were good.
He is my guy.
It's so funny because Billy and I had a moment where we kicked it really for the first time was at that hockey game.
Yeah.
I mean, I kicked it in your backyard and stuff, but there were other people around. But the first time that like we were together and then like we go walking in and I'm not really like into hockey or whatever. It was a great night, great experience. But we walked
I'm scared
in.
of the puck.
Yeah,
He
I don't blame
refuses to
you,
go.
dude. That should be coming flying at you.
He refuses to go to the game.
I don't blame you. And when you're that close, the puck's flying at you, the bodies are hitting everywhere. But we go to walk in, and it's freezing cold in the middle of winter. It must have been like 2 years ago or
You
so.
gave your jacket away.
I gave my jacket to the security guard. She was out there with a polo shirt on, standing outside, freezing. And like we walked in, I had a sweatshirt underneath. I gave her my jacket, and we walked in. And he's like, "You gave her your jacket?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm cool. I got a sweatshirt on. We're like, well, we're fine.
All right, but now listen to those stories, right?
Yeah.
So Nate, always down to help. You literally gave your jacket away. It's freezing out. I remember the night.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the people I've chosen to surround myself with. And for me, that makes me so proud because you guys influence me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I'm proud and I'm thankful who I've put in my corner because both of you every day make me want to be better. And without those influences, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know if we'd be sitting here doing all the reflection I've done in the last 8-9 months in life, especially the last 18 weeks on this podcast. But you guys are part of that reason.
It's tough to navigate, and it's even tougher to navigate with the wrong people around you.
Yeah.
That's when it starts. That's when your navigation is really off. Because you might be following the wrong guy with the wrong morals.
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking up to that, and you're going that way. Where, you know, the core and the foundation of even how we started this thing was just like helping and giving back.
And you know what? We probably didn't have to start this to help and give back. Because just an example, you're walking into the Prudential Center, jacket off, boom, here you go, miss, stay warm. Also, that was the beginning of the worst financial decision of my life. Just because my kid was
for another
so
day.
pumped. But, you know, you walk it every day. I try to walk it every day. Nate walks it every day. We're just trying to do the right thing. And too many people are focused, in my mind, on what other people are going to think. We had a situation over the summer where everybody told me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do for whatever their reasons were, their belief system. I don't care. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me and the other parties involved. Like, I don't care your takeaway. I need to feel good. You might have been freezing, and I might have told you, like, you shouldn't have gave this girl your jacket. But you did the right thing for Pete Reilly.
That's it. No,
you know,
fine.
and that's what we got to get back to as a society.
I think, yeah, and I think as people, you can change the world by changing the people that you come in contact with.
Change one person's day.
Because at the end of the day, you set a seed, another person set a seed, another person set a seed, and that's how people blossom into greatness. I think the greatest thing for people to do is to have a gift that God bless you with, and you pass it on to somebody else. So I use boxing as an outlet, right?
Yep.
Because obviously God blessed me through boxing. And from that, I'm able to reach out to the youth and young adults and then teach them positive things for life.
Yep.
I'm not just trying to teach you how to get in the ring. I'm trying to teach you how to fight adversity, right? And you're doing that with wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
because real life's going to hit you harder than any opponent ever has.
Yeah, like Rocky said.
Yeah, it's true. And it's the
And
same thing.
about
I
how
say that
hard
in
you
wrestling
work.
all the time. Like, real life is coming at you way harder than the state champ. So just a heads up.
Facts.
You know, how you going to bounce back?
And then, as there's some people that never did sports, right? And they don't need to, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna run up to them as peers, right? Grown-ups or whatever the case may be. And you show these grown-ups at the end of the day, like, look, I know it's cool to be negative and all of that, but I'm gonna show you positivity. I'm gonna give you hope. I can see you that depressed right now. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna try to build you up. I'm gonna motivate you. I'm gonna tell you some free chicken that's gonna blow your mind.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, once you get out of this predicament and I help you, guess what?
You're going to help the next guy.
Yeah, you're going to help the next guy because now you're going to use this predicament that was having you so down as a testimony to somebody else that's down. Like, yo, I've been there, I've done that. This is how I do it with their own little flavor.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
you just did that a week and a half ago with Pete. Pete was tending to his mental health. He reached out to you. He needed a little stimulation outside of what he was going through. My man Nate shows up with mitts and gloves and is boxing in the backyard with Nate, with Pete.
Good.
Has him running, training, the whole 9 yards.
I almost had him in the cold plunge the one night.
He's doing it on his own now. He actually took a day pass the other day and went to the Bear and Birch.
Good.
Yeah, that day, and it's all in fun. You do something that's good, it's positive, it's all in fun. Mm-hmm. So like when he would mess up on a workout or something or a boxing drill, I'd be like, all right, you know what you gotta do? You gotta do some push-ups, right? So he'd do like 10 push-ups, 10, 20, whatever the case may be.
Told me you made him do like 200 push-ups.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that.
But he messed up a few times.
So he did. And he had to do push-ups. And then sometimes he do stuff that's amazing. I was like, oh, snap, first time go. You know what? I got to reward you. I don't got no cotton candy. I don't got no freaking
Do
toys.
some push-ups?
Do some push-ups.
Even that's reward. Good. That's great. That's great.
So he got push-ups for a punishment, push-up for rewards.
Yep.
He said he did the most push-ups in all last year. You know what I mean?
But
he had
those
fun.
push-ups will make you feel good, though. Like,
well, you've said it.
It's
You're
not just a
feeling
punishment.
good. Get a little sweaty.
Yeah.
It works for you. It works for me.
Yeah,
I'm sure it works for Nate. I've seen him go to the gym and literally work out in like a 3-piece suit.
Yeah, just to get it in.
Yeah, just to be
Now,
able to
Nate,
do it.
Yeah.
Say that the not necessarily say that the working out wasn't part of your daily routine, but Billy said that, obviously you are a savage, but you're a controlled savage. If you didn't go to the gym on the reg, do you think you would still be able to keep your cool in not so cool moments?
Yes.
Yeah, you still
The gym
would.
is not. The gym is another way for me to, have my meditation. But everybody can have their meditation any kind of way they want to. So the way my mind is set right now, because at some point in my life, I realized that your peace is the only thing you can control.
Yep.
Right? So with that being said, I don't let situations or adversity that I see or challenges that come up to me affect my way of life. So, because if I get mad and emotional, that's not going to change the situation. It's still going to be there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I assess it, right? I look toward assessing the situation, see what can I do right now, what can I do that's going to change the situation? Or if I do this, is the situation going to remain the same? And if so, all right, cool. I'm going to keep it moving till I come up with a plan that's going to change it, right? And that's how I take anything in life. Like, an altercation with somebody. There's a book. It's called How to Influence Friends or How to Make Friends. It's about influencing people, but it's titled How to Make Friends. Basically, the guy has a part in the book that he's talking about like, so you guys are talking, and you're like, yo, the sky is orange. The sky is orange, right? And you're like, no, the sky is blue. And he's like, no, it's orange, man, I'm telling you. And we're at a party. It's your house. It's your party. And he's like, I'm telling you, the sky is blue. And you're like, nah, it's orange. It's orange. It's orange. So then he asked me, because I study this stuff, right? So he brings me over. He's like, yo, tell him, what color is the sky? He said it's orange. It's your house. It's your party. I said, it's orange. Like, what the freak? You know what I mean? And so everybody's like, oh, I didn't know it was orange. I thought it was blue. So the guy walks away, and the guy walks to the big dog that's supposed to know everything, and he goes up to him and he says, yo, man, what color is the sky? It's blue, right? And he says, yeah, it's blue. Why did you tell him it's freaking orange? Why did you agree with him? And he says, well, it's his party, right?
His house.
You got all of these people around him. Mm-hmm. What benefits you if you tell this man that he is wrong in front of all of his friends, in front of all of these people in this situation? You're just going to make him aggressive. Mm-hmm. You're going to make him defensive. You're going to make him not like you anymore. And you're just going to make him uptight for the rest of the day. It's going to be a crazy situation that it doesn't even need to happen. Does it benefit you to prove him wrong? Do you get any money out of that? Do you get any, accolades? Nothing. You get nothing from that. So why go there? And he's like, that makes sense. Another situation that he used. When I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, that makes sense to me. I don't need to argue with somebody for no reason.
Have you always been a big reader?
No, the military made me a big reader. The
military did.
And definitely when I became an officer, because I had to study the game. I need to know the battlefield. I need to know how to assess. I need to know how to look big picture, not just the Anyway, I want to go to another story that I read that made sense. All in the same book. So Abraham Lincoln, who's the man in my book, right?
He was a wrestler, by the way, Abraham Lincoln.
Was he?
Yeah.
How you know?
Just from the history books.
That's
what they talk about. He was a boss too. I mean, he was tall.
He was a boss.
He was tall, so he was hard to wrestle, I'm sure.
Roger that.
I don't know if I got any footage, but
all right. He's basically one of my favorite presidents, right? And the reason why he's my favorite president is because of his leadership. Anybody that wants to be a leader or that studies leadership, they read up on Abraham Lincoln because his leadership was amazing. He's the only one, and this is back in the day, he can give a speech and he's not reading it, right? He would go to his soldiers and his troops, give a speech, not read nothing. Meet you one of his soldiers, hi, what's your name? Billy, all right, cool. Come back a month later, what's up, Billy?
Nice.
Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, he was the man.
That makes somebody feel good on the receiving end if you remember their name.
That's what the guy's trying to say, right? But, so how did he get that way? So in the very beginning, before law school and all this other stuff, he was kind of shy, couldn't really talk, was kept to himself. Then he did law school, whatever the case may be, learned how to write, learned how to articulate, and started murdering people with his words, right? So he wrote something about somebody, right? I can't remember the person, but he's tearing them apart because he's a savage with his words. The person finds out, right? And they're like, oh, Abraham Lincoln said this about me? All right, cool. It's on. Get this message to Abraham Lincoln. I want a duel. Pick whatever weapon you want, but somebody dying today. Abraham Lincoln back in the day, it didn't tell me he was a wrestler. It told me he was into fencing.
Okay.
So he was good at it.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, we're going to fence. So he sent that to the guy. He's like, all right, it's going to be fencing. So they meet up at this location, right? But something goes on that it doesn't happen. The guy didn't show up, whatever the case may be, whether the weather, whatever. But he remembered that if it did happen, he might have died. So he's like, how can I change this situation? I need to change my words. How I speak to people, it affects them. I can still tell you something I don't agree with, but in a way that you're freaking taken in and not be so defensive.
Yeah.
There was a time during the war, right? Once he learns this, right? The book says there's a time during the war, right? The Civil War, where the North, they got it down packed. They're doing their thing, right? It's an opportunity for them to end the war, right? After they've been getting a beat over and over and over. However, he sends the message to this general, right? And he's like, yo, we got them where we want them. So go over there, do your thing. The general says, he's like, yo, my men we're tired. I don't feel like going over there. I don't feel like doing my resources right now. I'm not going. So he don't go. So this is in the beginning. So at the end of the day, I know we win, obviously, right? Because I'm free.
Right.
So, but this is in the beginning, right? The war's gonna last mad long because of this one incident that this general made, right? This general's like, yeah, I'm not doing it, right? So they lose the key terrain. They lose that opportunity. The South is, they read up on ammunition, all that stuff. So the South is ready to, whoop A, which they did, right? And then he said, F this. I told this general to go do his thing. He didn't do his thing. So he started writing this letter that he wants to send to the general about how he sucked, how he messed up the war. He could have ended the war already, but because of him, you know what I'm saying, more lives are going to get killed. He suck at life. You know what I mean?
He
suck at
probably
his
threw
position.
that one away and learned his lesson from the first time.
Yeah, it says he wrote it, and before he hit send, have the messenger go to give it to the general.
I was
he
going to
thought
say,
about
hit
it.
send.
Send is a horse and buggy. That's like 5 days, bro.
Send is this. Go give that to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why to this day in the military we call him runner. You know what I mean? So, so he's about to give it to the guy, and then he's like, he reads it, and he's like, what happens if I send this letter to that general? And he thought about it. Big picture, the general's going to be defensive. He's not going to be happy with Abraham Lincoln. Mm-hmm. He might even join the other side with his troops. We can't have that. So he just rips it up. You know what I mean? So I read that, and I'm like, it makes sense. So from that point forward, it only added emphasis on my way I speak to people and interact with people. Like, you could come to me and you could curse me out and everything. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be looking like, all right, I could easily, go tick for tack, but what benefit does that? Not saying be a punk.
Right.
But there's a way you can still have that command presence and demeanor and let this person know. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but nah, bro, I don't agree with you.
Yep.
Or, that's cool, I don't agree with you, but I'm going to keep it moving, and you're good. You know what I mean?
But you carry yourself like that without even having to speak. I mean, you just have that aura about you. Like, you're calm, cool, and collected. And I don't know if that's how you were brought up or if it's from the influence of the military and how you approach it or if it's the disciplines from boxing, but it set you up for life.
Probably a culmination of everything.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you got 3 factors that were filled with discipline. I mean, your father, I'm assuming, was big on discipline. Boxing is all discipline. And the military is all discipline. Now, I see you now. You came home from the military. You had kids and all that. You had your boxing career. You were getting into policing. A lot of people don't know this. You pursued a full-time education while working full-time. You have your master's degree and are looking to progress even more education-wise. You are always driven. I mean, I've never seen somebody with so much drive in their life to better themselves. And here you are every day waking up to be the best version, if not better than yesterday. What do you attribute that to?
Just who he is, bro.
But something had to shape you to be that way. Was it just the military? Was it the boxing? Was it all 3, like Petey said? Like, have you always been like that when you were a kid? Always wanted to be the best version of you?
I think what helps me out is I'm always trying to lead by example. All right, so that keeps me driven. And, as a kid, I'm the firstborn, so I had to lead by example because I have my little sister and my little brother, and I don't want to let them down. Then I feel like as life went on, you just add to it, or at least that's how I look at my life. I added to it. So you join the military, you become an NCO, non-commissioned officer, whatever. You got people under you. You can't let them down, or, lives are at stake. Boom. All right, boom. You get out of the military. All right, well, now I got children. So I don't want to let them down. So I have to lead by example, and I have to keep the standard high for them. Like, every parent wants their kid to supersede them.
Yep.
I don't want my kid to reach my level. I don't want my kid to be beneath me. I tell my son all the time, I have conversations with my son and daughter, and I'm like, hey, Tiffy, what do you want to do? You want to be an engineer? Okay, cool. You're only a freshman? Okay, cool. At the end of the day, look up these colleges. See what the requirements are. So you're already studying it for now. Do the same thing with my son. Blah, 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 blah. All right, that's my kids. Then I meet people. So at the end of the day, when I meet people, I'm like, all right, cool. I met this person. This person's thinking highly of me, like what you just said. So I'm like, all right. So that's in my head. I'm not going to let you see me weak. At the end of the day, I have to set the standard because you just said you're using me as an example of how you want to act and how you want to be. Well, with that knowledge, I'm never going to let you see me hurting. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
but even if I do, I'm going to try to fix myself. With you, at the end of the day, you're a coach. You guys have a lot going on that you probably don't understand. Or you hear it and it goes in one ear, out the other. Everybody has their down moments. That's life. That's humans. At the end of the day, we continue to push forward and we continue to lead by example because there's somebody watching us that you don't know, that's looking up to you that you don't know. Not just your kids, but people, friends, peers, older people. True. And you don't know it. I look up to you. I like the positive Pete. I like that energy. It reminds me to stay positive. I like how you interact with people. I like how you have a giving heart. That reminds me of myself, and it reminds me to stay being a giving person because I see how people interact with you, how it blesses them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about the blessing business. God blesses you to bless others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're in like a tough moment, like you said, can't always be good. What do you do, or what do you find maybe works to snap you out of it? Like, does the gym help you?
To snap me out of it, I think about you guys. I think about my kids. I think about all those people that's looking up to me so that they can get pulled out of their down moments. And I tell myself, I had my little moment. Don't be a B. That's how I talk to myself. I say a whole bunch of things in my head that I won't say out loud.
That's great. That's great. That actually helps me, honestly, just hearing you say that, because if I do have some of these negative thoughts or down moments, or you know how it gets, feeling like you're against the ropes in life and you kind of lose sight of gratitude and everything else, I'm definitely going to add that into my arsenal from here on out, that I start, because like you were talking about something that reminded me not when I first started coaching wrestling, but when I first started at Howell, one of my youth teammates that was always younger than me, we were now peers as coaches. Yeah. And he had a way better wrestling career than I ever had. He was a state champ, and then he went on to Rutgers. He was unbelievable. He came up to me. He's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that when we were kids, I used to always look up to you. I'm like, what? You were the state champ, man. You were looking up to me. He's like, yeah, man, you worked your tail off. He's like, you were always doing your thing. You were winning every sprint you were doing. He's like, yeah, I always looked up to you. I was like, dang, man, you never know who's watching.
That's facts.
You never know who's watching. So when I'm feeling a little bit weak, I'm gonna get feeling strong real quick, just thinking about all the people that are watching.
It's funny though. You never know who's watching, and it's usually like the person you least expect to be your biggest supporter or be pulling for you. And then on the flip side, it's the people that you would never expect to, I'm not going to say be rooting for your downfall or for you to fail, but not have, your success be at their forefront and not be pulling for you to be the best version of you. It's always like that veiled hatred. Like people, no one wants you to be better than them. Like you said it before. Like I want my son to be better than me, and I should be the only man that wants to see him better than be him be the better version of themselves. And you don't get that. Like the random guy doesn't want to see you be better than him. But I want my son better than me. You want your son better than you. You want your son better than you. That doesn't.
I don't care about that competition, though, man.
You know what?
No. But you want Mace to ultimately have a great life and be set up. I'm not talking about successful.
The other competition with everybody else out there. Like I ain't worried about none of that.
I want to tie that together, though. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we're talking about our kids, and you want your kids to be better than you. And I get what you're saying too, because at the end of the day, when I'm doing what I'm doing to motivate people, my mindset is, let's say we got the same job. I don't care if you surpass me. If I gave you free chicken and now you're going to be my boss or whatever, or you get a better rank than me, I'm cool with that because I knew I was part of the process.
That's cool too.
There's a young lady, right? So I went to Seton Hall for ROTC, trying to become a lieutenant. I was in their little ROTC program, whatever the case may be. I was enlisted before, so I'm real military, even though I'm playing military.
Right.
So there was this African-American young lady. She struggled on two things. She struggled on the swim, which a lot of African-Americans up north struggle on the swim part, but it's a qualification. You got to pass that swim part or you ain't going to commission. And then land nav. She struggled on land nav, right? That's when you got your, I don't want to insult anybody's.
You got the maps out, you're in the woods and some shit.
In the woods, and you got to get from point A to point B. A lot of people suck at that.
I could see that.
So she struggled on that. And then her command presence for telling people what to do wasn't that good. People didn't really take her serious. So I've already knew how to do land nav. I already had the swimming crap from the Marine Corps or whatever, even though I still get scared. but at the end of the day, I was like, she's struggling, but I'm going to make sure she shine. I'm going to make sure she graduates this program and becomes a lieutenant. So I took her to the side. I used to have mentor sessions with her, like I think 2 or 3 times a week, where I went to the Seton Hall Library and I got the map out, I got the compass.
Nice.
We're going over how you could do land nav, da-da-da-da. And then after she passed that, then I'm like, all right, cool. This is how you start briefing your guys when you're in the squad leader position or the sergeant position to tell them, hey, I need you to do this. You're going to be on the assault element, da-da-da-da. She got that down pat. And then the swimming, she was on her own. No, she got the swimming down pat.
You just throw her in the pool and walk away?
She got the swimming down pat. Anyway, the moral of the story is I helped her because I saw all her weaknesses that she was struggling on. I helped her. She then became a lieutenant, right? Once she got into the real military, became a lieutenant, guess what? When she was the first lieutenant, she was like, hey, hit me up, right? Who I used to be her mentor. Now she's in the real military. I ain't give her free chicken since she joined the real military. She's hitting me up. Hey, did you do this? Did you do that? For the captain's thing is coming out, and if you don't do this, you're not gonna make the list. Da 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 da. I'm like, oh, now she's giving me free chicken. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I gotta do this. I gotta make sure my officer record brief is good to go. Da 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 da. Now I'm out. I'm a retired captain. Guess what? She's about to be a major, and she's probably gonna freaking get out of the military as a colonel or something. You know what I mean? But
she might not even have got it in if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, she's gonna surpass me,
and that reminds me of the same guy. That reminds me of the same guy with the story that you told us about at the police academy.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
changing people's lives, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And that's why I don't like to get wrapped up in that competition with, you know, whether it's keeping up with the Joneses or making money or certain things, because a lot of the things that keep us going don't have any dollar signs associated with them. So you could have made a different choice. You could have said, oh, you know what? I'm not helping anybody. I'm going to go get a part-time job with all my time. I'm going to stack up all my cash. This way I can get all these things for me, and I'll be all right, boom. But when you make that choice to give back to other people, what comes with that is, that's why I was saying, I don't care about I don't care about that competition, bro. Good for you, man. You got more money?
See, but
that's fine.
It shouldn't even be a thing. Like, all right, so you got kids, you interact with parents and like your kids' friends. I'm lucky right now. My kids don't really have friends that I don't like their parents. Like, I get along with everybody's parents, but I know the day is coming where it's going to be a dick swinging contest everywhere we go, and my kid did this and your kid did it, or we got this, or we went to Aruba for a month. Why didn't you go? Because I feel like Nate would be
like Nate would be the best person to lean on in those situations, because Nate would be like, good for you.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even have to have a rebuttal. Like, oh, my son just did this. Hey, you know what? Good for your son. That's such a blessing.
Well, you know what's nice right now?
And that's it. You keep it moving.
And I was talking to Dave Porta about it the other day. Me, him, and Scott were in a group text. You know, we've been at some wrestling tournaments on Sundays with the boys. So it's Jack, Max, Rocco, and Louie. And Roman's there too. All the boys kind of like support each other, you know, as much as they can in that environment. There's 7 mats. They're bouncing all around. All the dads and moms are kind of like supporting each other. It's really nice. No one's forcing it. Everybody's a good person. It's not like, oh, well, Jack took first and Max only took second. You know, it's nice. It's everybody's there with a common goal, just being a good person. So Keep up with the Joneses. As far as I'm concerned, fuck the Joneses.
Yeah.
I just want to be the best Stahnten I could be and hang out with people that just want to be the best Reilly they could be.
I was talking at the barbershop earlier. I said, all the Joneses got different is more credit card debt.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to keep up with them.
You
You don't
ain't
know what
wrong.
they swiping that vacation. Whoosh, Discover card 30%.
At Disney twice
Yeah.
a year for fucking $15,000 a clip.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going to Wildwood for $2,000 and people are looking at me like I'm a jerk off.
That's
It's
fine.
what I can afford. It's what I can do. And
Made
honestly,
the memories for your
So-
kids
but it's what
and you
makes
guys
me
enjoyed
fucking
it.
happy.
That's it.
A
That's
quick
it.
story, then we'll get back to it since you talk about Disney. When you know, when you were a kid, I don't know if y'all did that. When you're a kid in the summertime, you do your thing, and then when you go back to freaking school, they say, "What did you do for?"
I
the
got a story like this.
That's always tough.
So, you know,
That's
we
always
was
tough.
We was chilling at the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going outside. That's what we did, right?
Yeah.
My uncle came back, right? And he took my cousin to Disney. They did their thing, but he came back and brought me a shirt. Right?
Oh,
So I'm like, all right, cool. So I
fake it till you make it.
Exactly. I was just good there like, what did you do all summer?
You know what I did?
Yeah, I went to Disney. I saw Mickey, you know what I mean? I didn't see Mickey till I was like 20-something.
Yeah,
I
I'm
took
not
my
mad at
kids
that
to
at all.
Disney, and then, you know what I'm saying? I took them 2 years in a row. I took them to Disney for like 4 days. Then I did it another year where I did it like 10 days during Christmas and New Year's.
Yep.
We had it there, right? Actually, it wasn't even all that good because, like, Christmas, we don't got no gifts there. I'm
Yeah.
not bringing the gifts there. The gifts is
Yeah.
at home. And then New Year's, it was all right, but I feel like you got to rush the whole time.
Yeah.
But I did that so my kids could say, you know,
So they
I've
can
been
get
to
into school
Disney.
and say
You know
that.
what I mean?
I know.
I never went to Disney as a
I
kid,
know.
but I'll tell you a story about after summer. First grade, I'm in Mrs. Kelly's class. I'm at West Freehold. We go to school. It's, what did you do for the summer? We're going around the room, and some kid, a couple kids, I went to Disney. I had breakfast with a princess, or I did this, I did that. And I'm sitting there, and I legitimately looked like I didn't even know this was a thing. And Mrs. Kelly told my mom, and my mom tells me this. Now we discuss it. That's the only reason I really remember. Said, I watched cartoons and had cereal too. Did I have breakfast with a Disney character? I thought it was the same fucking thing.
yeah, watch
I
that
had no
TV.
idea.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you could fly to Florida and have breakfast with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I thought I was doing the same shit.
Yeah.
But I turned out all right, and I don't see my kids going to Disney anytime in the near fucking
For
future.
sure, man.
So.
We go down to Virginia with my sister-in-law, brother-in-law. They have a baby on the way any day. They have 2 boys.
Amazing.
And that's like our vacation. Like we have not, first of all, my wife and I never went on a honeymoon. We had Mason first, so like we never had a honeymoon. And we've never like got on a plane together. We haven't gone on a vacation. So it's funny that you guys even bring that up because we be coming back and I'm like, yeah, tell your friends you went on vacation. Meanwhile,
That is a
we're-
vacation. You
It
left the
is.
state.
Yeah, exactly. We left
Like,
the
I
state.
didn't leave the state.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
totally
we go to
fine. I totally
Wildwood, bro.
understand that.
Bro, but that's the. So
Yeah.
I like.
Isn't that
I
funny
like
that we'll do
Wildwood
that,
because
though?
it's what I knew as a kid.
No, I love
we
it.
went to Wildwood for 3 days every summer. That was our vacation.
That's how it was with me with Long Beach Island. We
Same
would go down.
shit,
My
yeah.
whole family would be down there. My best childhood memories are LBI. Now, I was fortunate enough that one of my friend's parents paid for a trip to me to go to Disney when I was in either high school or middle school.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. So I technically been there. And I went when I was real young.
Nice,
Like my
nice,
parents
nice.
went down
And
when I
you
was
don't
super
even
baby.
remember.
There's like
Yeah.
pictures of it. But
Yeah.
now I just jokingly say, like, you want to go to Disney? Go on YouTube.
Yeah, bro.
But that's the thing about
We're doing
being
Wildwood.
positive and being grateful.
Yeah.
Because you had a great childhood. You
Yeah.
had a great
Yeah.
childhood. Now, as an adult, I don't know if you ever heard this, but I hear it a lot. And that's because in my mind, when I hear it, people are ungrateful. They go to Disney or wherever, and then they come back and say, yeah, I need a vacation from the
Vacation from the
Yeah.
vacation.
What
You
does
hear
that
a lot.
mean?
And then
You
you
all
also
go on
hear a
vacation.
lot of complaining about Disney
Yeah.
when they come back too.
Well, it's
So
like a job. You got to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a mission every time you go to Disney. From what I
sounds
hear,
stressful.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
But I
like-
go to Wildwood. We go to the beach. We go to the boardwalk. That's fucking it.
yeah,
There ain't
so
nothing to do.
They say it's like a job because you have to get up at a certain
Yeah.
time because you
Uh-huh.
want to maximize your time. You spend
Right.
a lot of money to
Yeah.
go there,
Yep.
so you want to go there at a certain time so you can maximize getting on the ride,
Yeah.
seeing whoever, whatever. So you're on a time schedule.
Yep.
But in my mind, I'm cool with that because it's what I signed up for.
Right.
I'm cool with the lines. I know I'm crazy because the lines be long.
Yeah.
Right. They be like an
Yeah,
hour.
but you
or
like
something.
talking
Yeah.
to strangers,
But at
so
the-
you're all right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, What
With
did you
your kids.
expect?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you expect? You should go to that line with the right mindset. Like, yo, look, about to go. We about to talk. We about to do it up. Not go there and be like, oh my gosh, why is this line so long? Okay, let's take the line out. If it's 2 minutes, you go through the rides like this. Now you're mad.
Yeah.
Now you're like, dang, I'm already done.
We're done.
You know what I mean?
37 minutes. We went on 17 rides.
It's like, nah.
No, you're right.
Enjoy it. Have that family time. You're never going to get it back.
You're right, man.
Today is what? What's today?
Today's the 23rd.
The 23rd. It's a Tuesday. Fun fact. This Tuesday, we'll never have it again, right?
Truth.
Once tomorrow come, it'll never come again, right? We'll never be this age on this day at this time of the year again. It's gone, never to return. So you got to make the best of it while you have it. You know what I mean?
That.
So
I love that.
That's how I think, and that's how I do my vacations. I go to the movies. People are like, yo, I got the movies at my house. I can sit in my house. No, I'm not going there for the specific movie. I'm going there to get out of the house.
Well, that reminds me, because the last time you went to the movies with your daughter, she slept the whole time, right?
Yeah, she sleeps on all my movies.
That was at least like $50 you dropped that day between the tickets.
Bro, the movies
the
are
popcorn,
expensive.
the soda.
Yeah.
I took Rosie.
That's an expensive nap, Nate.
Rosie loves Mario Brothers. So like a year ago, the movie came out. I take her to AMC and Brick. Yeah. She's 3. It's her first time going to the movies. I get popcorn, whatever. First of all, it cost me like $75 for popcorn tickets, whatever she wanted. She wanted a cup of water. So we go to the bathroom. I asked the kid, I just said, can I just have a cup? I bought an $8 bottle of water. I was going to put some water in a cup for her. No, I have to charge you for a soft drink. I said, I don't want the drink. I just need a little cup. He charged me $8 for an empty cup. Just so I could pour water in it. How ridiculous is that? But I mean, I was floored. But she spent the whole time climbing up and down the little fancy recliner they have now. But it was like really special because you could pick the seat up and we cuddled and watched.
That's it, man.
But
it's all about those moments. And Nate, you brought up some absolute bangers today, and I'm going to really take a lot out of today because I went to Six Flags Fright Fest with the wrong mindset. It was right before a 3-day weekend. So we roll up, his football buddies, they're going, they hit me up. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I went there with the mindset of like, yo, we're about to go in this thing, we're about to go over here. Like, my mindset was off,
unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, it was like a little bit later in the night, so I'm like, oh yeah, I had all these thoughts on the way over, 20-minute ride. We get there, we're standing on a line. He's having a blast with his football boys. I'm kind of talking with the coaches who are my friends, and it was fine. But in my mind, I'm going, damn, this line's so damn long.
Well,
but if I had the right mindset, you know, I was caught off guard that it was so packed.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? It's the off season, but I didn't take into consideration school was closed the next day. Yeah. But even at my bad energy, and everyone wasn't feeling my bad energy until we waited online for food at the very end, and I said, no, we're going to Wawa. We're out. That's enough. I'm over. We waited at the gate.
Yeah.
We waited at the gate for like an hour and a half, like to even get in.
I'd then we had to wait at that point.
And then we had to wait. Yeah, exactly. Then we had to wait at the next place. But, you know, my son had a good time, and that's what it's all about.
Time.
Yep,
that's the only thing that we have in this world, and we can never get it back.
I know, which reminds me, though, like, I'm sure you heard this a lot in law enforcement. It's kind of like two-sided because there's counting down the weeks, which I was going to say, or like counting down the weekend. Like it's Wednesday or, you know, Tuesday or, you know, even on Monday. Like, oh, I can't wait for Friday. And what about all these days in between?
You're just going to
miss those? And then what happens? Like, you build up the weekend to be like this coolest thing ever. And then what happens? Oh, you got Monday again? And then the other side of that is jobs like law enforcement, education, these different careers out here where you overhear these people talking about their work like it's a jail sentence. Like, oh, I got 10 years left.
Yeah.
10 years left? That's your attitude?
Yeah.
Enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy the next 10 years. You're counting it down, turning it, 9 more years left now. Like, that's tough.
A lot of people look at work different than you or I because, I mean, you work every day. You're answering an email, talking to a client, interacting with a client.
For us, it's more opportunity, but I think even with those jobs,
you still have to work.
You lose sight on the gratitude, bro.
100%.
Built into that paycheck is so much stuff that if you are not a W-2 employee like that, you don't get those benefits. So you're talking healthcare, 401k, pension.
But that's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
You name it. Stop complaining about that check when you got everything beefed up in there. And like Nate said, be grateful of that job that you have.
You're looking past all the days during the week because you don't have to grind it out on Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
I'm at work on Saturday.
Right.
I still work on Sunday.
True, which is why you're not looking forward to the weekend
That's
like
what I'm
that.
saying.
Just another
So
day.
every day,
yeah.
I'm not saying
With the
every
right
day is the
attitude.
best, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to enjoy and appreciate every day.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to get through Monday to Friday to enjoy Saturday and Sunday. Because push comes to shove, I'm still going to check my email. I'm still going to answer the phone if a customer calls me. I'm still working Saturday and Sunday.
And push comes to shove, you might not make it to Saturday and Sunday. We don't know. It's not promised.
I know.
So when people say, yo, I got 10 years left or such and such to this job, yeah, but then you're 10 years older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can never get that back.
Yeah.
And
enjoy today.
And if you actually looked at it, now you're closer to death.
This is 10 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you're closer to death. I don't want to be 10 years closer to death. I want to be
right now, today.
where I'm at right now. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm still young. I'm going to make the best of it.
No, as much as you gave us great things moving forward, one of the best things that resonated with me was being negative is cool.
Yeah.
And like that has, to the point that people used to call me out for smiling too much. I think I told you that at the shop one day, Nate.
Yeah.
Who does that? I'm smiling. Well, is something wrong with
misery
smiling too
loves
much? You got a
company.
problem with me
Misery
smiling?
loves company.
I got too much joy for you? Like, why would you knock someone for smiling?
Keep
like
that joy.
you can make fun of my teeth or make fun of my height, or like you can find other things to rip on me about. Don't think smiling.
You sound stupid
but
telling
in my
somebody.
head, I would hear it and I'd be like fighting back smile, but I'd be like nervous smiling, happy smiling. But like I remember like a lot of people have said that to me in my life.
Yeah.
And you know
like
what?
every
'Cause they
time
hate
I'm
us.
like, I'm like trying to bite my cheeks now, like instead of
Trying to
smiling,
hold
I'm like
it
holding
back,
it back.
But
like,
those smiles is what draw
Yeah.
people to you. That's
Right.
why you're positive, Pete. You got to
Right.
keep them smiles going.
Gotta
like
own it.
people hear that, they come up, oh, you smiling too much. Yeah, and I'm gonna continue to smile.
Exactly.
Love your smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I say it's cool to be negative because if you look around and you actually like assess it, whether you're at the job, whether you're at a family function or whatever, people are. It's cool. Everybody wants to say, yeah, this sucks, or yeah, I want to do this, or how was work? Oh, work was work. Oh, how are you today? Oh, it wasn't Monday. What does that even mean?
I know. What does that
It's
mean?
International Chest Day. You happy
Yeah.
about it? Like, that's what it means when you say, oh, it's a Monday. I'm
There
like,
you
yeah,
go.
let's get it.
I love that.
But at the end of the day, like people want to be negative, and everybody else in the at the job or whatever, they agree with it. They co-sign with
Yep,
it
they
because it's
co-sign with
cool.
Well,
It's
nobody
cool
wants
to
to
be
go
negative.
against the grain.
It
Yeah.
starts to get contagious too.
Yeah, but you know what's
Cancer
also
spreads.
contagious?
Yeah, it spreads quicker than COVID, that negativity. Yeah.
Positivity. When people say that bull crap, like, oh yeah, I can't wait till Friday, and you would say something like, yeah, but we about to kill it today, about to, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
make this day our B, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Somebody might be like, yo, you right,
Yeah.
let's do this. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And then you're gonna have that hater he's jealous or she's jealous, like, why they so positive all the time? Well, why you so negative all the time?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
change your way of thinking,
Yep.
and your life probably will be better.
100%.
You know what I mean? You probably get to enjoy it a little better. You know what I mean?
100%.
So
You're absolutely right.
I used to be like that. I used to be, somebody say something suck, and I'm like, yeah, this sucks. But then I was like, you'd be like, yo, this suck. And I'll be like, yeah, let's embrace the suck. And everybody get happy.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
it's raining. And
Yeah,
we
but
be
that
like,
has to
oh.
be the military influence.
Yeah. And I took that from the military and I ran with it. I'm like, yo, I'm
Right.
not just, my military people don't just need to enjoy the suck. I want the people out here to enjoy it too. Let's get out of this freaking hole and let's be great. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody be great.
How we doing on time, Ev? I feel like
I think we're good.
yeah. I
Oh,
feel
dang, 90?
Wow.
That was a quick 90.
Yeah, well,
Damn, that's like
I
Billy in that
realized-
sports car on the parkway.
I just looked. I realized it's 20 after 3, and I
Yeah.
figured we were going a little long. That's why I
Yeah,
asked
that's
Ev.
amazing. No, that's good. I think we're good. Unless you got any final nuggets, man. We got a lot out of that.
Just stay positive.
Nah, you gotta
Yeah.
come back.
Stay
Embrace
positive.
the suck with us again.
Yeah. Embrace the suck.
That outlook
I'm
on
about
life
that,
is
yeah.
can really dictate everything.
All right.
That's what I got out of that. Like,
Yo, can you
you
give
know,
us
how
2
you look
tickets
at
to the
everything
gun
is-
show, too, before we leave?
Nah, because I
Bro.
just got this tatted up and I don't
You don't
want
want
to
to break it?
it.
You don't want to
Yeah.
break it? Yeah, he used to tell Max he would come because Nate hooked me up with for my first tattoo, but a great artist, Hanzo, a Rising Sun, served with Nate. So Max is asking Nate about his tattoos, And Nate starts flexing. He goes, every time I flex, I got to get this redone because I always break a link. I'm getting bigger. But
my dad taught me to move when I was younger. If you put your hands like that towards your biceps, they look bigger. Yeah.
Can
so
yours
I
get
all the
any
pictures
bigger?
like that as a kid.
That's what he does on the internet, too. Everybody's watching. The guy can only bench 225. He's lying about 400.
I don't know about all that.
All right, guys. We appreciate your time. Click the links, like, share, subscribe. Hit us up. Reach out to Nate. You guys know where to find us. Have a great week.